The first thing the Galactic Council noticed was the silence. For 300 cycles, Earth had been loud. Loud with requests for diplomacy, loud with transmissions asking for inclusion, cooperation, recognition, loud with data packets filled with culture, mathematics, art, music, philosophy, and offers of trade. Humans had spoken constantly, and now they had stopped. At first, the Council interpreted the silence as submission, then as confusion, then as fear. Only later did they understand it was preparation. The Council had never taken Earth seriously. Why would they? Humanity had only achieved faster-than-light travel a century earlier. Their ships were crude, their energy systems inefficient, their military doctrines outdated. They had joined the interstellar community like enthusiastic children, walking into a room filled with ancient predators. They had smiled too much, talked too much, trusted too much. They asked for alliances. They asked for scientific exchange. They asked to be observers in council sessions. The council denied them politely, then dismissively, then mockingly. Humans still smiled. And while they smiled, several member species quietly began testing the limits of this new civilization. Trade ships went missing near human space. Survey drones disappeared. A mining colony on the outer edge of Sol's influence was raided by a minor pirate faction, funded quietly by a council-aligned power. The official response from Earth was restrained. They requested investigation. They requested cooperation. They requested justice. The council delayed. The attacks grew bolder. Then one day, a council reconnaissance fleet accidentally entered Earth's inner system, citing navigational drift. They lingered. They scanned. They mapped defense satellites and orbital infrastructure. Humans protested. The council apologized. Nothing happened. Then a coalition of 3 mid-tier council species conducted a security exercise near Sol. 50 warships crossed into human space. They did not fire. They simply demonstrated presence. The message was clear: know your place. Humans sent a diplomatic envoy to the council the following cycle. They asked for formal security guarantees. They were denied. They asked for sanctions on the pirate factions. They were told evidence was insufficient. They asked for recognition as a protected member. They were told their military was too insignificant to justify it. Humans nodded. They thanked the council for its time. And then Earth went silent. No more cultural broadcasts. No more trade proposals. No more delegates. No more chatter. Even their civilian communications traffic dropped by 70%. The council assumed the humans were sulking. Some council members suggested Earth had realized its weakness and withdrawn into itself. Others suggested humanity was too emotionally fragile for interstellar politics. The council archives would later record this as the greatest miscalculation in its history. Because while Earth was silent, Earth was building. Humans did not argue. Humans did not threaten. Humans did not announce. Humans did what they had always done best. They adapted. They learned. They weaponized. They studied every encounter, every insult, every violation of their borders, every pirate incursion, every scanning pattern from foreign fleets. They mapped council ship signatures. They analyzed council weapons. They dissected council doctrines. They realized something terrifyingly simple. The Galactic Council had not fought a real war in 4,000 cycles. They had only fought each other in controlled, predictable conflicts. They had forgotten what desperate species looked like. They had never encountered one that survived by killing predators on its own world for millions of years. They had never met a civilization that came from a planet where the food chain itself was a battlefield. Humans were not offended. Humans were not angry. Humans were calculating. The first sign that something was wrong came from the pirate factions. Entire pirate networks near human space vanished. Not defeated. Erased. Ships stopped transmitting. Bases went dark. Hidden stations were found drifting, empty, their crews missing without signs of struggle. The council assumed internal pirate conflict. Then a council-aligned patrol group investigating the disappearances also vanished. No distress signal. No wreckage. Nothing. The council finally sent an official inquiry to Earth. Earth did not respond. They sent another. No response. They sent a warning. Silence. Then the Council learned something that chilled them. Human trade routes had stopped months earlier, but human energy output had tripled. Observatories detected massive energy signatures inside Sol, far greater than anything humans had ever possessed. Factories on Mars were expanding at unprecedented speed. Asteroid belts were being stripped for materials. The moon was no longer visible on standard scans because of the amount of orbital infrastructure surrounding it. And still, Earth said nothing. The Council finally decided to send a reconnaissance fleet. This time, they did not announce it. They arrived at the edge of Sol and found nothing. No defense satellites. No patrol ships. No traffic. It looked abandoned. The fleet commander, confident, moved inward. At precisely 08 light minutes from Jupiter, the fleet ceased to exist. Not destroyed in a battle. Not engaged. Erased. Sensors from distant probes later reconstructed what happened. Space itself folded. Not warped. Folded. A gravitational compression wave passed through the fleet, flattening ships into ribbons thinner than atoms. It lasted 4 seconds. Then it was gone. The Council received the data 2 cycles later. They stared at it in disbelief. No known technology could do this. They sent an emergency message to Earth. For the first time in months, Earth replied. The message was short. You were warned. Nothing else. The Council demanded explanation. No response. They demanded negotiations. No response. Then the second event happened. A Council military depot in neutral space exploded. Not from attack. From internal structural collapse. The station's gravity generators overloaded simultaneously, crushing the entire facility into a sphere 10 meters across. Every ship docked inside was compressed with it. Investigations found foreign code in the station systems. Human code. The Council realized, too late, that humans had not withdrawn from the galaxy. They had infiltrated it. Their silence had been cover. Their trade ships had been reconnaissance. Their diplomats had been intelligence collectors. Their engineers had studied every alien system they were allowed to access. They had been cataloging weaknesses. Then Earth spoke again. A single broadcast to the entire Council network. This is the United Terran Defense Authority. You have violated our space. You have armed those who attacked our citizens. You have ignored every request for justice. This is not a declaration of war. This is notification that the consequences have begun. Panic spread through the Council. They mobilized fleets. They fortified borders. They demanded clarification. Month came. Then the counterattack truly began. Human ships appeared inside Council territory without warning. Not from hyperspace lanes. Not from known jump points. They emerged from empty space, as if reality simply allowed them through. They did not announce themselves. They did not issue warnings. They struck military targets only. Shipyards, fleet depots, weapons research stations. Each hit was precise. Each hit lasted less than 2 minutes. Then the ships vanished. The Council could not track them, could not predict them, could not intercept them. And the humans were ruthless. They did not cripple facilities. They obliterated them. They did not leave survivors who could repair and rebuild. They left wreckage that would take centuries to clear. For the first time in millennia, the Council realized they were facing an enemy that did not fight for prestige, territory, or politics. Humans fought for elimination of threat. Total, clinical removal. The Council finally gathered an emergency session. Panic filled the chamber. Species that had once mocked Earth now demanded immediate peace. Others demanded retaliation. But they had nothing to retaliate with. Half their fleets were gone. Their logistics shattered. Their communications infiltrated. Then, the worst revelation arrived. Humans had not built bigger ships. They had built smarter ones. Each human vessel operated as an independent war network. They shared targeting data instantly through quantum channels the Council did not understand. Their weapons did not fire energy bolts or missiles. They manipulated gravity, inertia, and spacetime itself. Council shields, designed for plasma and kinetic impacts, were useless. Human weapons did not hit shields. They bypassed them by altering the physics inside the ships. Crushing, tearing, ripping. The Council called for immediate surrender talks. Earth responded. Cease all military operations within 10 light-years of Sol. Disarm pirate factions you sponsored. Submit full military logs of the past 20 cycles. Then we will discuss terms. It was not a negotiation. It was a demand. Some council members refused. They launched a unified fleet. 100 warships. The largest fleet assembled into 1,000 cycles. They jumped toward Sol. They never arrived. At the midpoint of their journey, their hyperspace corridor destabilized. Later analysis showed it had been tampered with. Human interference. The fleet re-emerged into normal space, scattered across a star cluster with no fuel and no navigation. One by one, ships went dark. The survivors broadcast a single message before systems failed. They are everywhere. The Council broke. Entire species voted to comply with Earth's demands. Others went into hiding. Some tried to flee Council space entirely. And through all of this, Earth did not expand its territory, did not invade, did not occupy. They only destroyed the ability to threaten them. The message became clear. Humans were not conquering. They were neutralizing. Systematically. Relentlessly. Ruthlessly. When the Council finally agreed to Earth's terms, a human fleet appeared outside the Council capital for the first time. Hundreds of ships hung silently in space. They did not point weapons. They did not move. They simply waited. A delegation was sent. The Council chamber, once a place of arrogance, now trembled with fear. A single human walked in. No armor. No guards. Just a calm expression. We asked for respect, the human said. You tested us instead. No one spoke. We asked for cooperation. You chose intimidation. Still silence. We asked for justice. You gave us delay. The human looked around the chamber. You believed our diplomacy was weakness. The Council representatives lowered their eyes. We were never weak, the human said quietly. We were patient. A long pause. We're done being patient. The new agreements were signed that day. Strict limits on Council military presence near Sol. Mandatory transparency in interstellar operations. Shared technological oversight. And a final clause. Any violation of human space would be considered an act of immediate war without warning. The Council agreed without argument. As the human delegation left, one Council elder asked the question that had haunted them. Why did you not tell us you have this power? The human turned. Because if we had told you, you would have attacked sooner. The fleet outside the capital vanished moments later. No jump signature. No trace. Just gone. The Council archives would later describe this era as the humbling. The day they understood something fundamental. Humans had never wanted war. But once pushed into it, they did not fight like politicians. They fought like apex predators. Efficient. Decisive. Unforgiving. And the galaxy would never mistake diplomacy for weakness again.